And I don't wanna waste a moment. Gonna make the most of this life, no matter what the future's holding. Climb some mountains.
How grateful we are. I am personally grateful for the opportunity to work with them, and of course the opportunity to work with you guys. So I'm hoping that you'll be able to take something from what I'm going to present to you today. You know, in my office I have two things hanging on the walls, okay? The first thing I have is I have an original clip, the front page of the New York Times, of when men set foot on the moon. I have the original paper framed in my office of when men first put foot on the moon. That was the newspaper of the next day, and it's clipped in there. The second thing I have is a pizza box hanging on the wall in my office. And those two things for me are a motivation factor, and you're going to see why as I speak to you today. I'm going to share with you three things. I can give you 50, I can give you 100 things that make an individual extraordinarily effective. I can give you hundreds of them, but I'm only going to give you three today that make an individual extraordinarily effective. Okay? The first one is, I want you to stop thinking win-win. I know we hear it all the time, think win-win, think win-win. Stephen Covey, I grew up, my children think about it all the time, think win-win, think win-win. Well, what happens is when we think win-win, we've become a generation that when failure or success doesn't come, we give up. Why? Because we didn't win. So we're being taught that unless we win, we're not doing okay, and that's false. That is completely false. So I tell people, yes, you want to think win-win, but don't think win-win unless you're thinking big. You first want to think big before you set on your way of thinking win-win. Why? Because if you're thinking big, then you will always be said that it doesn't matter if I don't win this one time, I will the next, and the one after, and the one after. You will never give up. The second thing in thinking win is you want to think in the moment. I was just talking to Angel a minute ago, and we were talking about parents in the past, and regrets, and the things that we don't do that maybe we should do. And then I told Angel the following, I said, Angel, isn't it sad to be full of empty yesterdays? All of us have. We all have empty yesterdays. Things that we wish we would have done that we never did. Things that we said that we were going to do, but yeah, we never did. So the next thing will be never to think of the moment, to live in the moment, focus on the moment, so that you don't have empty yesterdays. You know, this right here, who knows what this is? I know you know what this is.
Mount Everest.
What is it?
Mount Everest.
And that's wrong. And she's from Nepal. And that is the wrong answer. What is this right here? It's the top of the world, guys. It is not Mount Everest. It's the top of the world. And when you think of Mount Everest, there's a number of words, a number of things that come to your mind. Some of the things that come to my mind are beauty, big, living, purpose, dream, strength, courage, commitment, challenge, hope, endurance, motivation, and I can go on and on and on of the number of things that are coming to your mind right now when you think about the top of the world, when you think about Mount Everest being the top of the world. Just last week I was having a conversation with Scott, and I told Scott, you know, Scott, next year I'm going to go to Mount Everest. And what do you think? He said, well, you have too much time on your hands. Was his response. I've always wanted to go to Mount Everest. I wanted to climb Everest. I wanted to go to the top of the world. But what happens? Life sinks in. Life sinks in. I started working. I started going to school. I started having children. I started losing my hair. And eventually the dream of going to Mount Everest just faded. It just faded. But this year, as I wonder about my 45th year birthday, 45 years, it dawned on me, why not? What is keeping me from going to Mount Everest? Yeah, I might not be able to climb Everest, just like I may not be able to go to the moon, but what is keeping me from going into Mount Everest? At least to the base of the mountain, and the answer is me. I am the only one keeping me from going to Mount Everest. Absolutely nothing else is keeping me from going. So guess where I'm going to go in 2017? I need to work out. So I hire what do you call the gym? The trainer. I hire a trainer. I told the trainer I want to climb these 16 mountains. And the last one I want to go to is Everest. In 2016, and by 2017, this is the last one I want to do. And I will. Watch. In your Christmas party in 2017, I'm going to be showing you pictures of when I went to base camp on Mount Everest. Why? Because I know I will. It is what I want. It's what I determined that I will do, and I will do it starting now, 2015, preparing for that trip right there. The next thing I want to share with you is never, ever stop working. We work hard so that we can play hard. I don't know when we became a culture that we need to play hard and then we work hard. Well, the reality is, and it doesn't sink in until we have to pay the bill, that we can't play hard unless we work hard. So that is the second thing that I'm going to tell you is never ever stop working. I don't know how many of you, raise your hand if you know my story. How I got into the tax credit industry. Does anyone knows? Ivan knows, and a couple other people may know the story. I was literally parked, you know where the Publix over there in Kissimmee is now? Right behind the Reef Club. My wife and I, we slept there in a little car that we bought for $300. We slept there for an entire week, in the car, with 4 children. My business went belly up in Spain, and we moved to Florida, and we got stuck here in Kissimmee, sleeping in a car with 4 children for a week. I didn't have a job, we didn't have any money. We spent the buy in the car, and I was out looking for a job. I was wearing a suit, and I walked into the Reef Club to see if I could fill out an application for an apartment. The lady tells me, no, you can't have an apartment because you don't have a job. So then we went, looked at the apartment, and we came back, and I said, well, I guess when I get a job, I'll come back again. And she goes, well, it so happened that we have a leasing consultant position available, $5.50 an hour. $5.50 an hour, and I took that job, and I don't think I have ever worked harder in my life than I worked for $5.50 an hour. I was grateful, I understood what I wanted, and I worked like there was no tomorrow. I delivered notices of those 560 units like I had never run before. I don't think anyone has delivered notices any faster than I have in 560 units. I delivered those notices up and down. I cleaned units. I took carpets out of apartments that have been trashed. And I was not a maintenance guy. It didn't matter to me what I needed to do. It didn't matter. I had a job. I was grateful for it. I remember we had a baby, and we didn't have a crib for the baby. We pulled one from the garbage can, from the compactor, and that's what what we used for the baby. I remember, food stamp. I remember welfare. I remember all that when we were trying to start up. Again, $5.50 an hour with a wife and 4 children. I don't know, it's very hard to make it. But the point is that during that one time, never did I ask, what are you going to give me to get the work done? I got the work done because I understood that my success was found in the success of he that was giving me the opportunity. I understood that if Concord Management, which is the company that I was working for then, that if they became successful, then I was going to be successful. The Reef Club needed at least have units better than any other apartment complex for me to be successful. So what did I become? I became the best leasing consultant that you can find in the entire Orlando area. Over time, I got into compliance, and look what they wrote about me, the National Association of Home Builders. From sleeping in a car with his family of 5 to running a successful consultant and advisory firm for the low-income housing tax credit industry. I was nominated for the first Pillar of the Industry Award by the National Association of Home Builders back in the days. I didn't get it that one year. Lavon Road got it, those of you who know Lavon. And then I was nominated again the second here, so I was the second one that got it. Out of all the hundreds of people that have received, I don't know hundreds, it hasn't been 100 years yet, but they do it every year. Out of all of them, I received the second Pillow of the Industry Award. From sleeping in a car, over there at the Publix, it wasn't a Publix then, it was the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, right there in the parking lot, to running a successful advisory firm in our industry. So, yeah. Number 3, focus on people and principles. Okay? Whether you're focusing on yourself, or whether you're focusing on your family, or whether you're focusing with the people around you, or whether you're focusing you as an organization, it doesn't matter. You always focus on people and principles first. Zig Ziglar said the following. He said, we don't build companies. We build people, and people build companies. So when we set a policy and procedure in our company, we set it up thinking on people. Every policy and every procedure is set thinking on how can we build people. How do we make the compliance process easier for you to follow? Not how do we make it easier for compliance to follow? Without jeopardizing compliance, of course. How do we make it easier for the applicant to fill out the application and go through the application process? You see? Rather than how do we make it more stringent or more so that we can ensure compliance. No. We keep people and principles in mind first. The fact that you're going to have someone who's homeless, who's looking for a place to live, and we want to put them in as soon as possible. I'm inspired by the subject of homeless. Why? Because I was homeless. So I'm in Bardstown, or I'm confused with the P, close to Tampa. I forgot the name of the area there. I'm there, what is it called? Bartow? I'm in Bartow. I'm over there to do an inspection. This is when I already was owning preferred compliance. And I see a guy at the light stop with a box in his hand. The pizza box that I was telling you about. And I see him holding this in his hands. And normally each one of us have the tendency that we may look the other way. And we just keep driving. But what got my attention was that he was very nervous with the box, just holding the way you see it here, and just struggling. He was literally doing this. And I can see that he was nervous to whether he was going to do what he was going to do or not. I can see it, so I just sit there, and I was at the gas station, and he was at the library at Walmart. And I just sit there and just watch him. And memories started kicking in. Now, we never had to beg at a light stop, lucky for us, but he did. So at that moment, I had a choice to either look at him as a tool, as a pawn, as an object, or look at him as an individual. I made the choice to look at him as an individual, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because he was holding his son's hand, who was holding a teddy bear. And this is what the sign said. Homeless family, anything will help. God bless. You've seen these signs over and over again. So what do? I approach the guy and say, my name is Jose. What's your name? He says, my name is Aaron. So I say, Aaron, tell me your story. What's going on? My wife and I, we lost our home. This is when the market crashed. We lost our home. We had nowhere to go. He pointed out to where his wife was with a truck full of other possessions. And I said, well, Aaron, what do you need? He says, I just need gas to be able to go to a job interview. See, he didn't stop. All I need is gas to be able to go to a job interview. So I said, well, I'm going to do better than that. Why don't you and your wife meet me at a hotel? I just saw it down the road. Meet me there. I'm going to pay for 2 nights of your hotel room. I'm going to get you a car here at Walmart so you can put gas in your car. And then you just go on your way. So I bought him the gift card. We went to the hotel. I got him the room for 2 nights. I left, and then at the end of the day, I thought I need to check to see if this was true or not. So I go to the hotel, I knew the room number, I go straight to the room number, and I knock on the door. His wife opened the door, and her eyes open big, and I go, I just wanted to check on you guys and see how you're doing. And she breaks out crying. And she said, with the gas that you put in my husband's car, he was able to go to a job interview. They not only gave him the job interview, it comes with an apartment. Imagine if I would have looked the other way. Now, I don't know what happened to Aaron. I never saw them after that. I was happy that I told this story 1,000,000 times, but it changed my life. I learned from that experience that I needed to think of the moment. The moments were truly the molecules that make up eternity. So I hang his box, his frame in my office. This is not the real one. His box, the one that he was actually holding, is framed in my office, and I look at it often. And it reminds me that I was where he was at one point. But then it also reminds me that I didn't stop when I finally got what I wanted, but that I look for the opportunity to share that with others. And that's what I'm doing with you today. What I'm sharing with you today is the reality is that I was where you were, maybe a little bit lower. Maybe some of you come from lower than where I come. But that if we don't stop working, and if we honor the opportunities that are given to us, we will forever become successful. I want to share a video with you to close. Okay? And I want you to let it sink in. I'm not going to talk after that. After that, I'll turn the time back to your body. But I want to share a video with you. And I want you to let it sink in. As you watch it, just think about what is your moment. What is your purpose? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? What is your bigger purpose in life? Okay? So that you can make of those little moments, every single moment, the one that we're on now, what it truly is. A molecule, I can never pronounce that word, that composes my eternity. So here's the video.
We would do well to slow down a little. Focus on the significant, lift up our eyes, and truly see the things that matter most. Strength comes not from frantic activity, but from being settled on a firm foundation of truth and light. It comes from paying attention to the divine things that matter most.